Hello everyone, it is your favorite kind of punch, Mr.FalconPunch 996, the underrated king, the recommendation master, and of course YouTube's #1 Dorohedoro fanboy, back to bring you guys another new video. And today's video is going to be the second and final part of my 400 sub Q&A special, so let's not waste any time here. Let's just start up this Q&A. And first question comes from Godspeed Kira, and his question is, how would you react if you were to one day sign into YouTube and find out your channel had been terminated? Now obviously my first reaction would just be absolute devastation. You know, I put a lot of time and effort into this channel, or not, maybe not a lot, but I put in a good amount of time and effort into this channel, so seeing that just all gone would be pretty damn devastating, and I will be sad. But as I've learned from Kira himself, you could go about that, you know, two ways. You either just, you know, go cry in a corner somewhere and just quit YouTube, or you could take the Kira route and just make a new channel, start all over again, you know, fuck YouTube, and just keep on going. If you get taken down again, make a new channel, you know, just fuck it. So that's what I'd probably do. You know, I'd probably be depressed, maybe not make videos for a couple days, and then eventually just make a new channel and start all over again. Plus, I've come across a lot of people on YouTube that I think will support me no matter how many channels I make, so you know, that also helps as well. And now we're going to move on to the next question, which comes from Jim George Baker, and his question is, why are most shonen series longer than most seinens? Now, I'm not going to be speaking for all shonens and seinens out there, but one of the reasons why I think shonens are normally longer than seinens is, one, shonens usually are just a lot more popular than seinens. Thus, a lot of the editors, publishers, and mangakas kind of just want to drag things out. That way, you know, they can kind of get the money and everything. So that's one theory. And another theory could be just the way most shonen plots are done. I mean, I'm not saying all shonens, but like a majority of shonens, you know, a good majority of shonens are just like to become the strongest, to find this object or treasure or whatever. It's usually that kind of stuff, and usually those type of stories tend to last a lot longer, whereas seinen series have more stories that don't really lead to that much of a kind of long span. Like, they could be wrapped up really quickly because, you know, they have a somewhat more kind of, I guess you could say, constricted beginning, middle, end, whereas a lot of these, you know, shonen series, it's just like the beginning, a long ass middle, and then somewhere in the future an end. So I think that's why a majority of shonen series are just longer than most seinen series, but you know, that's just my opinion. And the next three questions come from DGenius66, and his first question is, do you read Korean manhwas? If yes, can you name some? Now, I've been wanting to read a lot more Korean manhwas because a lot of them look pretty damn good, and for some reason Korean manhwas have some really good art. Like, a lot of the ones I've seen have amazing art styles, but I've only read a couple. One of them is Breaker. Now, I heard Breaker is an amazing series, so I checked out the first series and it was pretty good. However, I hear the sequel is amazing, but for some reason I just haven't gone around to reading it yet, but I will eventually. I think the sequel is called like Breaker New Waves. I'll go check that out sometime soon. And then another Korean manhwa I read was called like XO Sisters or something. It was kind of like a supernatural, kind of harem-ish kind of series. It got canceled sadly, but it was pretty good, and the character designs for a lot of the female characters were like amazing. I was like, damn, they look amazing. Just look at that. That's fine as fuck. Okay, so DGenius's second question is, who's your favorite anime/manga character? And this is pretty easy. My favorite character of all time has to be Sakata Gintoki from Gintama. This dude is extremely awesome. Like, I am just a major Gintoki fanboy. I don't know how I could really put it into words, but I'll try my best. But like, there's just so many things to Gintoki that I like. It's like every personality trait and characteristic I like in a character he has. You know, he's hilarious, he's a troll, he's a badass, he can be really smart and pretty damn wise, and he has amazing speeches, and he's gone through a lot of shit. I mean, he's been turned into a cat, turned into a girl, he's had his dick turned into a screwdriver, he's lost his balls, he's been kicked out of his own damn series, which is totally hilarious. And he's just done so many awesome things. I mean, he broke a sword with his teeth. He broke the fourth wall so hard, it destroyed the fucking anime. I mean, I could just go on and on, but Gintoki, he's my dude. Just wish the Gintama anime could come back, because I really, really miss the anime. But now we're going to move on to D-Genius's third and final question, which is, what is your favorite genre? Now, my absolute favorite genre of all time is adventure. Ever since I was a kid, I loved traveling and going on adventures. It was just always cool. I just love that spirit of excitement and wonder adventure brings to you, which is why I always love adventure movies, and especially anime and manga series, which is why I probably like series like One Piece and Toriko, since they just have such an amazing sense of adventure and just, going out and seeing this big, grand, and awesome world. Especially how in a lot of these shonen adventure series, the mangakas kind of create their own creative world. And I just like that because you really get to see, the creativity and everything. With One Piece, you got all the islands, and in Toriko, you got all the animals and food and stuff like that. It's just really awesome, and I've just always been an adventure fan. Our next questions come from Dick Raider, and his first question is... Oh, okay. Well, his first question is, if you had to fuck a YouTube reviewer to save your life, who would you fuck? And he also said, be honest now. It also has to be a dude, get some dick-on-dick action going on, give me something to raid, no homo, of course. Well, I really don't know how this is not homo. I mean, almost everything about this is homo, but, whatever floats your boat, man. But, I honestly don't know how to answer this question, but, I'll try my best to, so, Who would I fuck?
No, not really any of these guys.
No, nuh-uh. I don't know. Actually, you know what? I know this really sexy ass reviewer that I would totally fuck. Let me just type in his name.
Yeah, this guy is totally sexy. Like, I'll definitely fuck this guy.
Yeah, this guy, because this guy is just amazingly sexy. Yeah, just look at this guy. I mean, he's like beyond sexy, like totally fuckable. And look at those sunglasses, man. Those sunglasses, just so, oh my god, they're so fucking sexy. Yeah, that question got pretty weird. But luckily, Dick Raider's second question is not as weird, since his second question is, what would be your Pokemon team? Now this is a pretty hard question for me, because, I've been a Pokemon fan for a long time, so obviously there are just tons and tons and tons of Pokemon I'd love to have and train myself. But if I were really in the Pokemon world, the very, very, very first Pokemon I would get or capture and train would be Charizard, or at least, get a Charmander and then, train and evolve him to become a Charizard. But I would have the Charizard. That would be my number one pick, since Charizard, ever since I was young, I have always loved big reptilian monsters. As a kid, I just loved watching movies like Jurassic Park, Godzilla, Land Before Time, because they had big reptilian monster looking things, dinosaurs and dragons. Those were awesome, and Charizard looked like a big dragon. Sure, he wasn't a dragon type at the time, now you just have to give him a Megastone and he becomes dragon type. And sure, in Generation 1, there was Dragonite, but Charizard was the first one I saw, and it's just awesome. Charizard's badass, just one of my all-time favorite Pokemon, and really, if I was a character in the Pokemon series, Charizard would be like my Pikachu. That Charizard would never go in his Pokeball. He'd just be outside all time and we'd go on tons of adventure together. Fuck Pikachu. It's all about the fucking Charizard. So let's see. Got 5 more Pokemon to go, since Pokemon teams consist of like 6 Pokemon. So next up, I'll probably actually have a Dragonite, since I also really like Dragonites, and I'm a huge fan of Dragon type Pokemon for obvious reasons. And Dragonite is a pretty badass Pokemon. And also I have Salamence, because Salamence is another extremely badass Dragon type Pokemon. But let's see. Let's move away from the reptilian looking Pokemon. I definitely gotta have a Talonflame. Why? Because Talonflame is a Fire Falcon Pokemon. So obviously, I gotta have one, because I love Falcons and I love fire. So having those two in one Pokemon is a must-have for me. So let's see, that's 4 so far, and those 4 all have wings. So let's go with something that's not a flying type Pokemon. You know what? Hitmonchan. Okay, Hitmonchan has always been one of my favorite fighting types. He's that boxing Pokemon. I just love the fact that he could learn like any punch type move he can learn. Yeah, definitely Hitmonchan. Hitmonchan's a beast. And let's see, we got one more Pokemon to go. And this is a hard, because again, there's so many Pokemon out there, and really, you just gotta catch them all. But I'm trying to think of the team I'd really want. You know what? I'm just gonna cheat a bit. I'm gonna say I'd want a Ditto. You know why? Because if you have a Ditto, you basically have every Pokemon, since you can just transform into them. Plus, if I had a Ditto like the one in the anime, then that Ditto would be pretty beast, since Ditto in the anime could turn into a fucking cannon, or even other people. So yeah, that would be a pretty awesome Pokemon to have right there. Might be a bit creepy because he might turn into other people and try to, like, I don't know, maybe escape or something. But so yeah, a Ditto. That would be awesome. You know what? I'm just going to cheat a bit. I'm going to say I'd want a Ditto. You know why? Because if you have a Ditto, you basically have every Pokemon, since you can just transform into them. Plus, if I had a Ditto like the one in the anime, then that Ditto would be pretty beast, since, Ditto in the anime could turn into a fucking cannon, or even other people. So yeah, that would be a pretty awesome Pokemon to have right there. Might be a bit creepy because he might turn into other people and try to, like, I don't know, maybe escape or something. But so yeah, a Ditto. That would be awesome. All right, our next 3 questions come from John Dalick, and his first question is, what are your favorite superheroes? Now, I know since I'm the underrated king, some of you guys are probably like thinking I'm going to say some underrated superhero or something like that. But really, 2 of my all-time favorite superheroes are Batman and Spider-Man. Like, I know those are like probably some of the like most overhyped and super popular characters out there. And you guys probably expected more from me, but I've always liked Spider-Man and Batman, and for good reason. Those 2 were always around as a kid. When I was a kid, we had Spider-Man the animated series and Batman the animated series, and those 2 animated series were awesome. And then later on, as I grew up, we got the Spectacular Spider-Man, and for Batman, well, it wasn't really a Batman show, but Batman was one of the best parts of the show. But we got the Justice League show and everything, and even Batman Brave the Bold. I mean, I'll admit it's not the greatest show out there, but there are a couple episodes which I think are pretty good. But yeah, those 2 superheroes are awesome. I love their movies and everything, and they're just overall great comic book superheroes, and probably some of the most iconic out there. And now John's second question is, top 3 historical figures. Now this I'm not too sure of, because there's a lot of historical figures I like and respect, but I don't really think I could put like a top 3 category on them, so I can't really answer this question that well, because I really haven't put that into consideration, so can't really answer this one. So I'm going to move on to John's third question, which is another kind of tough one, but this one is, can you build a civilization that will stand the test of time? Now this is hard because sure, I could probably learn from the mistakes of other civilizations, but so far, a lot of civilizations out there have not really stood the test of time. Again, to learn from the mistakes, and just crack open a history book, see what they did wrong, and just try to apply it to my civilization. Since usually what destroys a civilization is usually like a bad form of government, or like a war, or some natural disaster, so I'm not really sure. Maybe I could make one that could last a long time and become a great civilization, but I'm not sure if they could really stand the test of time, since that is a bit challenging. We'll move on to the final batch of questions, which come from Chaos Leo 815. Now, he asked me a lot of questions, like 14 to be exact. However, it isn't really his fault, because on the follow-up video I made for my Q&A, which was just like a reminder for my Q&A for people to ask me questions, on that video, which was pretty short, I forgot to talk about the 3-question limit. So he didn't know when he asked 14 questions, and originally I was just going to answer like 3 of the 14 he asked me. However, they're all pretty short, like almost 1-answer questions for a good majority of them. So I just decided, why not just answer all 14? Who cares? And his first question is, will you be picking up Pandora Hearts, Newer the Rise of the Yokai Clan, or Tegami Bachi series anytime soon? Pandora Hearts and Tegami Bachi, yes, I do plan on picking them up sometime soon. However, Newer the Rise of the Yokai Clan, I read a while back, and I read like 100 or so chapters, and I liked a lot of things about it. I love the art, and I like the whole supernatural stuff and the setting and everything. However, there's just something about it I couldn't really get into for some reason. Chaos Leo's second question is, what are your top 5 best seinen mangas you've ever read in your entire life? Now, I'm just going on the top of my head right here, but obviously number 1 has to be Dorohedoro, YouTube's number 1 Dorohedoro fanboy. So yeah, Dorohedoro. Then we got Berserk, and also, by the way, this is in no particular order, but then there's also Berserk, Yotsuba, because Yotsuba is hilarious. Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer, which is a massively underrated series I seriously need to do a recommendation on. And finally Hellsing, because Hellsing was basically my first seinen, and really it was the manga that got me into blood and guts and everything in my manga series. So I have to thank Hellsing for that. And Chaos Leo's third question is, what kind of music do you like listening to? Now, my musical range and taste it's pretty wide. However, I really do like jazz and also like hip hop and rap, or at least the more underground stuff, because the mainstream stuff is like absolute shit. And then I also kind of like that calming, kind of chill music, kind of like New Jobbies and everything like that. Like I really like that type of music. And of course, you also got like OSTs and everything. I really like listening to those, whether it be from anime, cartoons, video games, movies, whatever. I really like soundtracks, because soundtracks are really awesome. Okay, number 4 is favorite color, which for me is a tie between black and red. Number 5 is least favorite manga. I don't really know, because like usually if I don't like a manga series, I kind of just drop it, and I don't really have a least favorite. And question number 6 is least favorite anime, which is a tie between K-On! And Lucky Star, since I watched both those animes trying to see what people were talking about, because at the time when I went to go check out those 2 series, everyone was just raving about them, saying how awesome they were, how they're like the best anime ever, how they're hilarious. And I'm not sure if people are just trolling me or what, but those animes are just absolute crap. Like, I don't know how people even bother watching them. They just, I don't know. It's terrible. Those 2 animes are just terrible. So yeah, those are my like absolute least favorites. And now we're gonna move on to question number 9, which is, are you getting Smash Bros for the 3DS in October? And my answer is hell the fuck yes, I'm getting Smash Bros. And question number 10 is, what manga series could you recommend me to get that I will like and enjoy? Well, obviously, there is Dorohedoro. But if Dorohedoro for some reason doesn't work for you, then you need to get your head examined. And also, I have a long list of other recommendations that you could go check out, and you'll probably find one there. Plus, I practically do recommendations like on a weekly basis. So eventually you'll find something like that on my channel. Question number 11, favorite fruit? Strawberries. Question number 10, how do you think the Naruto manga will end? At this point, I really don't know, and I don't really care that much. However, all I know is that Naruto just better become the fucking Hokage, because that's the whole reason why I stuck around with the series for like the longest time. And if he doesn't become the Hokage, then I'm just gonna have some problems. Question number 13. What manga would you like to see from Japan be licensed in English print? And really, there are tons, like boatloads. I mean, there's like Bimbo Gami Ga, Cobra, City Hunter, just tons and tons and tons of manga series I'd like to see licensed. However, I'd really like to see almost everything that Go Nagai has done in English print. Well, maybe not everything, because the guy is a great mangaka. However, he has some pretty crappy series under his belt, so maybe not all of them. But his good series, I wouldn't mind coming over in English print. I'd love to have Devilman in my manga collection. Plus, there's a lot of series you can't find on online scans, because like no one scans certain series that he's done yet. And he has a lot of awesome spin-offs. Like, for some reason, Go Nagai just really likes having spin-offs with his own series, but they all sound extremely awesome. I mean, he has like Devilman versus Mazinger Z, Cutie Honey versus Devilman Lady, which sounds like an ecchi-filled fun fest. And he has a lot of other badass ones like Devilman versus Hades, and just a lot of cool stuff. So I would really like to see all that stuff and actually get my hands on it. And now we're going to move on to Chaos Leo's final question, which is question number 14, which is, did you like all the questions I asked? And the answer to that is yes. So now we are done with my 400 subscriber Q&A special. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And as always, I am Mr. FalconPunch 996. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't done any of that yet. You will be Falcon Punch in the face, so you better do it. And once again, thank you for getting me here, guys. You know, I really do appreciate it. I mean, 400 subscribers and counting right now. Once again, big thanks and shout outs to all the people who asked questions, because, you know, if we didn't get those questions, there wouldn't be a Q&A special. So thanks once again, and officially, peace out.